G'day everyone, it's Man Overboard again. Still really can't get used to this hair, but these are new sunnies as well. So I picked these ones up on Thursday, and they're like my old ones, just a little bit smaller. Wraparound Oakleys like my old ones, just a little bit smaller, but they correct for both type of vision, for short and long sighted for me. So that's a big win. When I'm out in the sun or driving in the sun, I can read. I can read and I can look at things in the distance. I can read my dashboard, read the kilometre numbers on my car, and then look at the road ahead, and I can look at the stuff on my digital screen there as well. That's a bit smaller, which I wouldn't be able to do with just the short-sighted glasses that I used to wear. This video is gonna be a short video today. It's a blog about living my life in reverse. So I just thought about this morning. I was watching a channel. The channel is called the SRI Institute. It's run by G-Man, and it's about this guy who's turned 40, and he said he got nothing but bad advice and made all the wrong decisions when he was in his 20s and in his early 30s, that he never got good advice, and he was like left to rot, and people constantly lied to him and gaslit him and told him what he should be doing and what he shouldn't be doing, and it was all wrong. He said it led to the outcome now where he is today. I have to say that I did really relate to that video. I should make some video like that. So I'm doing something along those lines. It's called Living My Life in Reverse. So yeah, obviously, if you've been looking at my channel over time and through history, you'll realise that I went bald in my late teens. Started seeing baldness, miniaturisation at 15, baldness at about 17, 18, and then it just took a quick hit, and I was 3 hair transplants at 19 and 20. And then they didn't go too well because it didn't really cover the full scalp, and they started falling out eventually. And that was early on in time, before the advent of Windows and before the internet. So they were ancient technologies, ancient scarring, ancient grafting. Some of it lasted about 20%, 80%, eventually fell out, 20/80 rule again. But yeah, so I'm living my life in reverse. Most guys, what I want to say is that most guys, like, look, and when I was that age as well, like, no women were obviously interested in me because I had a pathetically unattractive look, with about a quarter of my head transplanted with grafts that weren't really even fully covering that area, and I was meant to wear a piece that went over the back, and I never got that, so it looked like I was unnaturally balding. You know the story if you've looked at my previous videos, and if you haven't, please do, as it'll tell the story. See, most guys in their late teens and 20s, or at least their early mid-20s, have a full head of hair, have a proper dating life. They live life like they're meant to. So they're living in forwards because they're living, their life starts at their age, right? And they keep going forward based on the fact that they haven't aged prematurely. They didn't look 40 when they were 25. They looked 25 or maybe 23 or 27 when they were 25, not 40 like I did. And, they found love. They got into relationships. They found social connections, no problems. I was the opposite. So I went bald early, and I never had that in the prime of my life, right? So in the youth, in the 30s and the 40s, and men tend to go, if they lose their hair, they tend to start losing mid-20s onwards. Even mid-20s is a bit early. Generally, men who lose their hair from like mid-30s onwards into their 40s and 50s and whatnot, and it's a lot slower when it happens at that age. The process of the balding is a lot slower. Me, so I lived bald for 33 years, from about 18, 19 to 52. Now I've just got this hair system put on, and that I'll come to that in a moment, and the reactions and the subtle reactions and the nasty reactions I've had. But just in regards to living my life in reverse, so men they go through their life looking youthful in their youth, and then they age as they're meant to age. Me, it's turned out the opposite now, because I prematurely aged. And now at 52, I've had this, and I've got a body, that last night 2 women actually saw my pictures and saw my body, and they complimented me on. They said, "How old are you?" I said, "I'm 52." They said, "That's insane. That's I've never seen many 52-year-olds with as hot a body as yours." So yeah, that's extra bonus. But yeah, most guys do that. Like when I was young, not only was I bald, I was like skinny, unmuscular. I'd never given advice on what to do properly. Took a PUA course, didn't really get anything from that because I was too short, skinny, and muscular. Non-muscular, I was bald. I just had a reverse life where now, at the ripe old age of 52, my hair is restored, my body's in fantastic shape. You can see so I've got the definition there. Underneath there, I've got the abs coming through. Yeah. And so it's all in reverse. I'm looking better in my 50s than I ever did in my prime. So hard to believe, but it is true. So on the rare occasion like mine, yes, some men will live life in reverse. And unfortunately, you may not end up getting the women in their prime, but you may get close to it. If you've got enough money, and I've saved enough over the years, unfortunately, I'm burning through a lot now in these tough economic times and not earning enough anymore. But, I'd managed to save a fair bit over the years. So budgeting, yeah, but not seriously budgeting badly. Yeah, so it's all in reverse for me. Hopefully I can attract, women in their, realistically in their mid-30s, early mid-30s and up into my age group. Do I really want to be dating 50-year-olds and up from where I am? Look, probably not. Not in the state I'm in, not the body, not the hairline, and, not having a younger lady in my life. Well, I did, but not permanently, as a social companion anyway. I did as a social companion, but I want, a permanent social companion and a what do they call them? FWB, FBW. I can't remember what the term is, but yeah, that's what I'm after now in life. Not really marriage. Not at this age. I know the pitfalls of marriage. I'm too wise for that. Yeah, so getting back to that, the hair piece. Yeah. So no, hang on, before I get there. The life in reverse. Yeah. So, when you get to my age and you start looking better, you start turning the clock back, it can be a real bonus. And you do have some regret that you've left it too late. But sometimes it's better late than never. And the master doesn't show to the apprentice until later in life, until the time is right. And the time is right in my life now. So I do want to travel, but that's another story because my parents are elderly and mum's had a few health problems, so has dad. And, I don't want to be 2 weeks overseas and then someone say, "Oh, yeah, come back, your mum's not well." And then I come back and then I find it's all a scare, there's nothing to it. Then I've had my whole trip ruined. So, yeah, got to find a nice chunk of time and space where I can just go overseas, maybe meet some younger women and just be myself and enjoy the life that I've got now, which I haven't really done. It's a bit of frustrating life, going prematurely bald, not growing more than 5'7", and not putting on a lean muscular figure until the last couple of years, especially in this year. Yeah, right, back to the piece. The good and the bad. Okay, so the good is, back out in the real world, subtly, I will say that subtly, I'm getting better interactions with women. Like you can see they treat you better. They're more smiley and open to you, to talk to you, rather than, my job, I come across women, and what I do for work, I come across women, and they generally seem to be more pleasant, cordial, nice, smiley, enthusiastic, and smiley with talking to me. Whereas in the past, some would make an effort, but some would just say no. But the ones I've come across have all been like, yeah, that you can see something in their eyes. They're happy to be talking to me, which does make a difference. And I can pick up on that subtle difference. And it's a great thing. Great thing. Other ladies I've met who know me, other people I've met who know me, not family, but people who know me, have said it looks great on me. It looks fantastic. It's like, you look great. it's a big change and people are going to have to get used to it, but it looks great on you. The thumbs up. I sent people pictures, get the thumbs up, reactions are good. However, I will give you a little story. In my job, I came across what do they call them? Prosthetic dentist, a dental. What do they call those dentists? They do work on your teeth, not dentists, but they do. What are they called? Like to improve your smile, improve your teeth, so you get a better smile. Prosthetic dentistry or image dentistry, I forget what they're called, but she's a dentist like that. She does veneers and implants for teeth, and she was telling me, she said, I got a lot of my clients, my customers who come through get a new set of teeth and they love it, and people they know in their lives, they say, oh, it looks great, you look great new smile, that looks fantastic. However, she warned me this. She said, the people closest to you who know you most, i.e. your family members, will give you the most pushback when you make changes for the better. And I kind of understood what she was saying. I did understand what she was saying. I said, yeah, thanks for that. I kind of knew that. She said, yeah, just watch out for family members who will criticize you when you make those changes, trying to get out of the box they've put you in so many years. I said, thank you, I know. Now, I didn't really realize this until the last couple of days. So I was sitting at my folks' place the night after I got this done. So the first night Mum was there. She said, looks great. You happy? I said, yeah, I'm very happy. I look 12, 15 years younger. I look great. I look happy. I'm great. She said, good. Then Thursday night, she made a comment. She said, I think that I don't like this parting that goes down near the crown here. I don't like this centre parting, and I think this part's too long. They should cut it shorter. I said, yeah, maybe they could take an inch or two off, but it would, take away from the flow effect of my hair. She said, you'd still look better if they cut it a bit shorter for you. I said, all right, take that on board. I don't think so, but she seems to think so. Last night, once again, I was at my parents' place, and my sister was there. And my sister's, I don't want to say what she's like. I won't say what type of person she's like, but all I'll say is she's a miserable single mum who had IVF because probably no guy was good enough for her standards. She dated lawyers, another guy who was an investment banker. She dated some, good guys. Some guy who was really good looking and had good connections. None of them were good enough for her, so she couldn't find a guy who was good enough for her, and she got IVF. But she's living a miserable life. She hates our gender, male gender. On the whole, she's got nothing good to say about men. I don't know if it's probably her. She hasn't even got any friends. Her friends, that's all I'll say. Not a good place to be. She was there with my 4-year-old nephew, her IVF son. And my nephew comes down the stairs at my parents' place. I'm sitting down in the lounge and he's laughing. I said, what's the matter, mate? You haven't seen a guy with hair? And she comes down and she goes, no, he's just used to bald men. All men, like my sister's around my age, she's a few years younger. She said, all men your age and around your age are all bald men and they're proud of it. I said, right. I said, yeah, that really hasn't helped me through my life. She said, oh, what the hell? She said, turn around. I said, yes. She looked at the back. You can't see the back, and I'm not going to show you the back. But it looks like, she said, it's so freaking obvious they've put something on your head and they've stuck it on. See, they've gone short around the sides and around the back, and this top part is like so long and wavy. Just cut it very short. You need to cut it short. Tell them you need to cut it short. She kept going on about it for like 15 minutes. Anyway, I lost my cool. I said, if you want to pull it off now, pull it right off. Go ahead. Help me lose $1,000. $1,000, $100,100 down the drain. You pull it off right now. I won't take your crap. She said, no, I know men who were bald and pudgy before they got married. They got married bald and pudgy, and women like them. I said, show me those men, because I don't know any of them. I said, show them to me. She couldn't show me anyone. I I said, well, that's great. I said, well, if you know women who are marrying short, bald, pudgy men, why don't you go and marry a short, bald, pudgy man? Quiet. She kept quiet. Right. Then she said, that's it, I've had enough. She cracked. She said, oh, I've just had enough. I'm going up. I'm leaving. Took her son, left. Okay. And my mother says, I looked at my mother, I said, is that what my sister thinks of me? She said, look, don't worry about your sister. She's cranky. But she's just trying to give you advice. In fact, my sister said, I'm just trying to give you advice. I said, at 52, the only people giving me advice is this person, is up here, is this person from my own history, from my own lived experience in my shoes. I said, I've taken advice from so many people over the years and it got me into a terrible life. I said, I'm not taking people's advice anymore. You can say what you want and I'll listen to it, but I won't do it. I'll act on what I want. I said, I've got to do what I need to do, be who I need to be, go where I need to go, and live how I need to live. I told her that. And I kind of yelled at her because I had enough. She's a womanist and a strong one at that. And we just clash. We're just like every time. Now, I told another friend of mine, my parents invite me over the night, and I can't say no, they invite me over for dinner the night that my sister's there, and I have to see her. He tells me, you need to get her out of your life. I said, what can I do? How can I get out of it? He said, well, you have to tell you. I said, what am I? And then all he could say at the end was, it's a shame you have to come into contact with a woman like that when you're trying to improve yourself. Those were his words to me. Anyway, I think she's bitter, and I think she's not happy that I've improved myself and that she can't, and that I'm trying to meet a new companion, an attractive young companion. Now, here's another thing. Obviously, I missed out on young love. I missed out on attractive women. The women I dated over the years were never attractive. They were always overweight. Now I'm in shape. I don't have the overweight woman thing. But my family seem to think that, oh yeah, he just needs to be married off to any old plain girl, fat girl, just marry. They come from a very conservative background. Yeah, he just needs to be married. Just needs to marry. That's all they think. Doesn't matter. Just get a plain girl, even better. That way they won't be a threat to them. Yeah, just get someone, even if you're not attracted to her, just get married. That's all they want. That's all they've ever wanted for me. Me, I'm wiser than that because I read a lot. I see a lot and I hear a lot, and I know that marriage at my age would be a disaster. 52. I've never been married, and I don't want to get married. I won't marry a divorcee or widow. I will have them as a companion, an FWB or whatever that term is called, social companion / S3X companion, but no more. That's all I want as a man. That's all I want now in my life. I'm making these conscious decisions, and I'm not going to go back on them. And quite frankly, I think my family and my sister are coming from the point of, yeah, you don't need hair to attract a woman for marriage. You don't need hair to attract a woman for marriage. I disagree. Maybe at our age, maybe they will overlook it if you're rich enough or have a good enough status. A short and pudgy man may be able to get away with it on rare occasions if he's rich enough and has enough status, but certainly not with his looks. And yeah, I don't want to really get married at this age. I just want an FWB or a couple. Yeah, and it just really grinded my gears last night. And then my mother said, look, just let your hair around the sides and back grow and get them to trim it. I said, look, I'll take about an inch off this, no more. I don't want to lose that youthful look that I've got now. I don't want to lose this nice flowing hair. I will let the sides and back grow a bit so it doesn't look like it's something stuck on my head. I could probably pass, like right now, like that looks like an undercut, right? To me, that looks like an undercut. But to those family members of mine, it looks like a stick-on, a bond-on for a piece. My father, through the whole of this, was very sheepish and quiet because he's a bald man. He went bald in his mid-20s, and he married my mother in an age where my mother had no other option but to marry him. And look, I mean, my dad's oldest brother died an inkwell at 56. He liked there was a woman he liked. She was a Singaporean lady, and he used to like her, but it was unrequited love, and he died an inkwell at 56 from a heart attack prematurely. My dad was the middle brother. His younger brother ended up in two marriages, both a convenience. One to a woman for business, the other one when he was in business with her. The other one, he set up a business in the Philippines. They're both from the Philippines. He set up a business in the Philippines, and she was less than half his age. In fact, I'm in touch with her on WhatsApp, on my WhatsApp, because she has a lot of his stuff that she's been posting to my family. My parents don't use mobile phones, so she got in touch with me. So I'm in touch with her. She's a young lady in the Philippines. She's in her early 30s, late 20s or early 30s. She's less than half my late uncle's age. And she seems like a very pleasant, nice lady. I haven't seen what she looks like, but I've spoken to her on the phone and I've communicated with her on WhatsApp, and she's a lovely person. Yeah, so that's my uncle's story. And what happened was, he passed. He lived in the Philippines. He had a business, and he also had a hotel. He opened up a hotel. I think it was one of the islands. I think it was one of the Philippine islands, not Manila, one of the islands. And he passed away. He passed away during the COVID pandemic. He was diagnosed with COVID and died in hospital. Whether he was actually died of the C word, or he was forcibly under protocol used as a statistic during that time, I don't know. But from what they told me they gave him in the hospital, I think he was being used as a statistic. Anyway, so she inherited a lot of his stuff. I'll cut that off. She inherited a lot of his stuff after he passed away. Her brother took over the hotel. It's still in the same shape. They haven't made any changes. And she sent a lot of his stuff out to my family here. I've got a couple of his old artifacts in my cupboard up here in my house. So it's sentimental and momental. It's momentum. It's a sentimental items that monuments that it's part of the family. So I've got them in my house. My dad's late youngest brother. But my dad was very sheepish through the whole interaction. He says, no, not this again, not this again. And, my sister has a way of triggering off men because she's a very, she's not a happy person, let's just say. She's never been happy. She always wants better and more. I guess like every other woman with hypergamy, they always want better and more. Kind of knows how to trigger me off in the wrong way. And I was triggered last night. It's kind of my fault for not holding my guns. So then she tells me, why don't you tell me to shut up and F off? So I said, yeah, I will, shut up and F off. So she did, she left. She's a womanist, and, they love to test men and poke and prod men that they don't like. And I guess that with her, she doesn't like many men, from what I gather. But anyway. So the moral of the story is, some men live their life in reverse when it comes to women and attracting women and life circumstances, and don't try your best to avoid miserable womanist women. Man overboard. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you next time, and I'm in a great mood. I bet you've never seen me like this. Bye.